Wow, it just feels like yesterday the season just started and we're already 5 weeks in, as it's now time for my Week 6 picks of the 2018 NFL season. Last week I went back-to-back 9-6, which, I mean, yeah, probably doing better than everyone else probably, and of course, I think this is the first time ever I've had 5 winning weeks in a row to start the year, but damn it, man, come on. The best record so far I've had was 10-5-1. That's just not good in my eyes. In order for it to, like I said before, in my eyes to be a good week, it has to be 750 percentage. Anything else is terrible. So, yeah, I got winning records, not good enough in my eyes. And anyways, here's the playoff stands at the season end of the day. It's the Chiefs and Bengals with the byes, and the Ravens at the Patriots, and the Chargers at the Titans in the AFC. The NFC, it's the Rams and Saints with the byes, with the Buccaneers at the Bears, and the Panthers at the Redskins. And my Super Bowl pick remains same, the Rams and the Chiefs. Just don't know who would probably win that, as it's only those teams left that are undefeated, and of course everyone now has a W. So we start off with Thursday night, as it's the Eagles at the Giants, and of course a rematch from that high-scoring affair last year. Eagles, they already look like they're suffering a bit of a Super Bowl hangover, being 2-3. They already matched their loss total from last year, and the Giants, a blown opportunity against the Panthers. Oh man, that fucking sucks. Such a upset that they almost pulled off in the end. And of course, Odell continuing to complain as always, which is always hysterical. This game, however, can really go either way. I mean, figure with Eli last year put up like 500 yards or something like that, or the whole team put up 500 yards against that strong Eagles defense last year, and they almost pulled it off, and of course that was without Wentz. And the way the Eagles are playing right now, this really could go either way, and that's why I think I'm actually taking the Giants for this one as an upset. And we get to Sunday, starting off with the Buccaneers at the Falcons, as the Buccaneers were just off their bye. And of course now Jameis Winston is finally making his first start for the year, and then the Falcons, oh my god, they laid an absolute egg against the Steelers. Jesus, that was terrible. Wow. So this will be quite interesting. Will the Buccaneers actually make a recovery from their rust 2-game stretch after that 2-0 start, or are they finally going to come back to reality even with Winston in? And I think Falcons will probably get it, and I will pick the Falcons for this. Then it's the Steelers at the Bengals, as the Steelers destroyed the Falcons I just mentioned earlier. That was a well-needed victory and a well-convincing win, too. And the Bengals, wow, you were down 17-0 against the Dolphins. You actually pulled off, scoring 27 unanswered points. Good for you. Guess what, though? The Steelers are a better team than the Dolphins, and you historically suck against the Steelers because you keep blowing it. And speaking of blowing, Dirty Fontes is definitely looking forward to delivering a hit on Antonio Brown and Big Ben, as he always does. I already know exactly how it's going to go, because it's been like the last 6-7 times they played Chargers in Cincinnati, like the last bunch of years. The Bengals get a big lead, and then the Steelers make the comeback. A lot of it because the Bengals keep shooting themselves in the foot, and I don't think this is going to be any different. I think the Steelers are going to win this, probably convincingly. And then it's the Chargers at the Browns for the first time since 2016, as the Chargers had that really convincing win against the Raiders last week, and the Browns actually finally got a win in overtime. About time they didn't shoot themselves in the foot, as they've already doubled their win total from the last 2 years. Shit, they already are halfway of matching their total win total the last 3 years. That's incredible. As this one could actually be very close, believe it or not. And I don't like how everyone on weekly pick'ems has like the Chargers like 2/3 chance to win. The Browns, remember, before this year, their last win was against the Chargers. And last year, too, even when they were struggling, they put up a pretty convincing fight against them. And the year before it. Matter of fact, the Chargers and Browns, not his fault, but have played each other every year every year since 2000, for the last 4 years. And all of them have been, by and large, really close. So you can't underestimate the Browns in this one. And since they're probably as best as the Browns have been in a long time, I think I'm going to say the Browns will get this. Then it's the Bills at the Texans for the first time since 2015, as the Bills, well, at least for the Bills, they're actually doing a lot better. They're exceeding my expectations, being 2-3. I generally thought they were going to start off 0-5 or even worse than that. So at least they're hanging in, and they had that really hard defensive victory against the Titans, which I thought was going to be. And the Texans, speaking of defensive victory, that game against the Cowboys last Sunday was awesome. They definitely played well, even though Deshaun Watson got his ass kicked hard all night. My God, especially that one hit where he got brutalized when he threw that pick. This could easily be a defensive struggle, which I'm sure it's going to be. And it really is going to be low scoring. It's probably going to come down to the last-second field goal, which, of course, both teams are used to after the last week. This could easily go either way, but I think the Texans will get this. And then it's the Bears at the Dolphins for the first time since 2010, as the Bears got off their bye after their absolute destruction of the Buccaneers. Oh, my God, Mitchell Trubisky put up 6 touchdowns on them, for God's sake. Man, Mitchell, if you play like that, not only would the Bears actually be a playoff contender, probably even almost borderline Super Bowl contender, Jeff over at Schleg Daddy would be quite happy for that. And the Dolphins, I told you all you were overrated. 3-0, and now you've lost 2 in a row. When you're up 17-0 against the Bengals and you still blow that game, and then you got to host one of the best defense in the league, yeah, we already know the results there. Bears easily. Then it's the Cardinals at the Vikings for the first time since 2016. As the Cardinals, they finally got a win, too, this season. And it was pretty convincing, too, against the 49ers. And Josh Rosen, so far in his first 2-game starter, he looked okay. He's at least quelling some doubts probably a lot of people had so far. And the Vikings, very convincing win against the Eagles last week. That defensive struggle, that was pretty damn awesome. And it looks like maybe the Vikings might finally start to turn around a bit, and I think they'll get this win. Then it's the Colts at the Jets for the first time since 2016, as the Colts, they can't stop blowing games. But then again, they put up a hard-fought game last week against the Patriots, even though it was pretty much a blowout by and large. And the Jets, holy shit! Not only did they beat the Broncos, they destroyed them! And they put up I think it was 300 yards rushing. Wow. Oh my God. Oh, so much for that Broncos defense, am I right? Wow. But of course, was that just a one-time thing, or is that the beginning of a trend? Who knows what way this game could go. It could go either way. I think weekly pick'ems had a 60-something% average for the Jets that win. I'm actually going to take the Colts for this, because the Jets are really inconsistent this year. And then we get to our first London game, as the Seahawks are at the Raiders for the first time since 2010, as the Seahawks put up one hell of a fight last week against the Rams, but just couldn't stop them on 4th and 1 when they needed to, or 4th and inches, whatever. And the Raiders, you hang on to beat the Browns only to get destroyed by the Raiders. The Chargers. Why am I not surprised? Boy, this actually could be really close. This could be high scoring, too, if Derek Carr and Russell Wilson's offensive lines could protect him and they don't turn over the ball. But I think the Seahawks will get this. And then it's the Panthers at the Redskins for the first time since 2016. Remember that Monday night game? As the Panthers, wow, what a comeback they did against the Giants. That was an almost huge choke job they did, but they managed to pull it off in the end. And the Redskins, you didn't even show up on Monday night last night. You let Breeze easily break the record. Holy shit. Now, of course, this game could go either way, since the Redskins are always inconsistent for this year. One week they destroy someone, only to get themselves destroyed. So this sets the streak started again. I guess they're going to destroy the Panthers, especially since the Panthers have not been outright convincingly winning all these games, and they almost blew it against the Giants. So the Redskins could probably easily maybe even get this victory, but I think I'm going to trust the Panthers on this. And then we get to the 4 p.m. games, starting off with the Rams at the Broncos for the first time since 2010, as the Rams are trying to go 6-0 for the first time since 2001, and had an incredible victory against the Seahawks last week, even though I'm pretty sure Jared Goff did not really play that well, but Todd Gurley, Vic had an awesome day, and wow, Broncos. I mean, it's bad enough that you lost to the Jets, but you let them destroy you, and you let them get 300 rushing yards on you. What the hell is going on with you this year? But then again, those first 2 wins were all really close. I mean, it's not really necessarily that surprising. You could easily say they could be 0-5 right now. It looks like, so much for all that work, looks like they're finally coming to the end of their era of like a dominant defense too, the way they're playing. And of course, who knows, maybe they could put up a hell of an effort against the Rams, but I think the Rams will get this. Then it's the Jaguars at the Cowboys for the first time since 2010, as the Jaguars got the shit beat out of them by the Titans. Oh my god. And pretty bad too, because they really did a good job, like, handling Patrick Mahomes, but they got absolutely obliterated right there. Ugh. That's definitely a little bit concerning, especially when they got injuries to deal with. That's not a good sign. The Cowboys, oh boy, what a blown opportunity against the Texans, especially when Dak threw 2 interceptions, for God's sake. I don't even think he threw a single touchdown. That's definitely not a good sign. And of course, the way both teams are playing this year, it's probably going to be a defensive effort. And whose defense do you trust more? I think you know exactly what defense you trust more. Jaguars easily get this. Then it's the Ravens at the Titans for the 2nd year in a row. And a really good matchup, too, between near playoff teams last year, or at least in the Titans' case, were a playoff team. As the Ravens, they blew it against the Browns, but I predicted, so I'm not really that surprised. The Ravens usually do struggle when they play the Browns, beating Baltimore, Cleveland, and the Titans. Ouch! You blew it against the Bills. Marcus Mariota, did not really do a good job either. Oh boy, this is probably going to be a hard-fought defensive slugfest in this game. The kind of game I like, especially when these two were back in the AFC Central growing up. This will be sick, but I think the Titans will once again get it here. And then we get to Sunday night, as it's the Chiefs at the Patriots for the 2nd year in a row, as the Chiefs are now trying to go 6-0 for the first time since 2013, as they've now gone 5 in a row, the 2nd year in a row. As, holy shit, even when Patrick Mahomes actually been struggling last 2 weeks, especially against the Jaguars last week, they still pulled it off in the end. Holy crap. It's like no one can stop the Chiefs right now. And the Patriots, can't remember. Oh, yeah, the Colts. They've also showed that once again, after that sluggish 1-2 start, you can't underestimate them. They are right there in the mix, and once again leading the AFC East. And of course, with a win here, maybe a Bengals loss, they could be right in that 2nd seed right here as well. This is probably the Chiefs' last remaining, except the Bengals later on in the year, which they got flexed on Sunday night. This is like probably one of their last remaining challenges in the AFC side, as long as they don't shit the bed like they did last year when they started 5-0 and then fell to 6-6. This could be easily either side, but I mean, think of it too. If the the Chiefs got that offensive performance against the Patriots last year, and that was with Alex Smith, can you imagine what they could do with Patrick Mahomes, even though he's been kind of struggling these last few weeks? I actually think I'm going to pick the Chiefs for this one, but I won't be surprised if the Patriots get it either. And then we get to Monday night, a game I have no idea why they picked whatsoever, as it's the 49ers at the Packers for the first time since 2012. Yep. Pretty bad 49ers. You let the Cardinals get the win on you very convincingly, too. After the hard-fought games you've had this year, even without 2 games in a row now without Jimmy Garoppolo. Your season's fallen off a cliff, which I predicted it would because I knew you were overrated. And the Packers. Ugh. They really do need a rebuild. Aaron Rodgers obviously is not enough. So that's a get new kicker to probably replace Mason Crosby. I mean, if he made all those field goals, they probably would have beaten the Lions right there, for God's sake. Yeah, definitely not a good start. 2-2-1. And honestly, if you think about it, I think they would honestly be like 0-5 right now if you think about it. That's how close it is. Yeah, so neither team is really doing that good this year, but of course, come on, is it? Are the Packers going to be that bad that they're going to blow it against the 49ers at home without Jimmy G? I think that's going to be obviously the Packers, unless they somehow shit the bed and the 49ers actually play good. So those are my picks for Week 6. I can't wait for Eagles at Giants tonight. I'll be sick in all the other games, and hopefully I can get a 750 winning percentage this week. I can only